Dirt roads to rock crawling, two-buck chuck to screaming eagle, moonshine to 50-year-old single malt. We talk about it all here on Wheelin' Wine and Whiskey with your hosts, Jason and Chris.
Welcome to Wheeling Wine and Whiskey, episode 161, in studio. HG, Horse Gulch, outside camping.
Woohoo!
Adopted Trail 2022.
It's in the books.
Chris, how are you?
I'm great. I'm glad to be here.
Thanks for showing up.
Yeah, it's good to be here. A little late to the party, but I showed up.
I thought I was going to be doing a solo pod again.
This is one of my favorite places to be up here in this campground. It's off the beaten trail. It's not really well known, and it's serene.
It is very nice. We got a little babbling brook right next to us here.
Babbling brook.
So yeah, snow melt still coming out of the mountains, I guess. And yeah, we had quite a few people in camp the last couple nights, so it's good times, good party, a lot of work.
Yeah,
and we'll get into that here shortly. But what do we got for business-wise? Business.
Well, we're as we said, we're very remote. We don't have a whole lot of internet connectivity right now.
No, got nothing.
We got nothing. So we're going to have to defer a lot of our business to the next.
You don't have any, you can talk about irate.
Oh, irate. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Come on, you're out of practice. Jeez.
I know,
oh my gosh.
So irate 4x4, as you all know, we have moved over, or we are stepping away from Patreon to go to irate 4x4. And we have our Barrel Society Club that we've created, which is just like our patrons, but it's Barrel Society. And signing up for irate 4x4 to get into the forums, that's absolutely free. But to look at our forums, the public forums for Wheeling Wine and Whiskey, those are also free. And you can see all of our episodes there and any comments you want to post about past episodes or current episodes or whatever. You can also, if you choose, on the right side of the screen when you're in there, you can see you can subscribe to various tiers of our society, the Barrel Society, and it's not required, but does open up an access to a special area for members only. It's not an OnlyFans.
Members only. No, definitely not OnlyFans. Yes.
But same deal, 5, 10, 20 is same tiers. So you've got the Wheeling 101. You've got, what's the second tier? Barrel. Shit, I can't remember.
Oh my gosh.
I don't have my internet. I'm a little lost right now. And then, of course, the Old Elk Club's the $20 tier. So...
Chris is in full vacation mode right now. Relax.
I am. I'm not.
He's taking 2 naps already.
You're driving home today.
I got to go home. You're staying here another night. So, and you got a CL smoothie there.
I do.
I'm drinking a Gatorade.
I do.
Gatorade. So, yeah, we came up here with our Esprit de Four Club and Granite Bandits Club. So we have a few adopted trails in this area that we've been maintaining for 20 years or so, I'd say now.
Long time.
So Corral Hollow gets used a lot by hunters and stuff in the winter, fall, and then summer. It's become a popular trail up here.
Oh, yeah.
And we just drove back from Lake Alpine, and there was probably 15-plus rigs at the end of the trail.
For Slick Rock?
For Corral Hollow.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And, Toyotas, there was a bunch of tacos, and... Yeah, there was a couple.
How many tow trucks?
Didn't see tow trucks, but they all had their hoods open. But I think they're airing up.
They're probably airing up. Yeah.
But anyways, no. So that was good. So the trail gets used a lot. There's a bear trap cabin out there. That's a first come first served cabin. I don't know if I'd spend the night in it, but it's a cool place to check out. There's a little sign in book and cans of beans on the shelf and
emergency supplies if you run out of food or water.
Random cheap liquor bottle.
Yeah,
vodka or something, some Smirnoff or something. But it's a very scenic trail, and it does get a little, gets your attention towards the end with some rocks.
Yeah, nothing major though.
No, nothing major in an uphill and stuff. But it's a rig on 31s can get through it, and locker would be helpful in a couple spots, but you could get through.
Can a Rivian make it?
Rivian apparently can make it. Holy smokes, those things are very capable. We had a few of them on our adopted trail, so we'll talk about that.
Absolutely.
So Corral Hollow was open and didn't have to do any work on that. Thanks to JL Latte Rodney ran it a couple weeks ago. Eric and Dolly ran it a couple weeks ago, and they moved a few logs, so it's open.
Yeah,
it's open,
wide open for business.
So I hopped on my dirt bike. I brought my dirt bike, the KTM. I hadn't ridden in a while on dirt. And I'm like, okay, let's go for a ride and survey the situation to see, because we knew loggers were coming in when we were up here in November.
That's right.
Last year. And they said, nope, we're logging this whole area, so you won't have to worry about all these trees down. I mean, it was over 100 trees in that section that were down.
I remember that.
They had them all stacked up. So I rode right past it. All of them were stacked up beautifully. I'm like, oh, sweet. Trail wide open. So that loop was open. Then I went down the other ridge that comes down to what we call our lunch spot, which is a part where all our trails kind of come together.
7909 intersects.
Yeah, and hit trees immediately. Same thing, just pick up sticks, man.
Right.
It's just
if you go right and go up, or left and go down?
Going down to the lunch spot. Yeah, so I'm like, okay. So that one's blocked. I'm like, okay, there's more than enough work here for us. And so with that, we went up and we ran the loop, the off-camber S-turn loop, the Mattley loop. And that's a beautiful trail. Man, it hadn't been run. I mean, there was like, overgrown in some spots.
I've
the
been
brush,
noticing the trails are getting
crazy.
narrower and narrower.
So we went in and did brush patrol and cleared it so you could get through. But yeah, so we had about, I don't know, 15 rigs or so Friday.
Okay, that's good.
12, 15.
Many hands make for light work.
Yeah, and we had about, I think it was 12 trees or so, 14 trees.
Okay.
I forget what the count was exactly, that we had to either haul or cut and haul out of the way. And so the folks from Rivian that have 3 Rivians hooked up with us through CJ with a CJ, he'd been talking to them. They came to a Rigs and Coffee, found out about this Adopt Trail, said, hey, we want to come up and help. Heck yeah, come on out. So they came in. They were camping somewhere else up the road near Lake Alpine, I guess. But so they came in, and so it was super cool. And they were new rigs. It was, I'm like, I don't know how narrow this gets. And, and then we're starting to get really narrow and brush. And I'm like, oh, man. I'm like, are you guys okay?
They're like little Sierra pinstripe.
Yeah, exactly. But, most of it washes out. It always looks worse with all the dust, on it. But they're like, no, they were using them. So I was like, right on. But it was so odd, watching them come up this hill, the S-turn with the off-camber, and each wheel has a motor, I guess.
Right.
And so it has white noise. It has this white noise that it emanates in the front, and it shuts off at 18 miles an hour. You don't hear the white noise anymore, but that's to warn people that something is moving,
so
right?
The white noise, the Hemi?
Yeah, it's the Hemi, right. Well, that's it's federally mandated now on the newer electric vehicles, so you know that they're moving and running.
Does it just sound like static?
It's just, it's like white noise. It's got kind of like a spaceship sound a little bit, And so,
most spaceships I hear sound like rockets,
right? Like a rocket. So they're coming up the hill, and one tire would spin, and then it's kind of like the traction control, like you'd see on the Toyotas and stuff. It would send power to the other wheel. Well, it does something like that. Of course, it's all electronic, and I'm hoping to get. There was some engineers with us here, and of course, we were asking questions and things. So I want to get them on the podcast and talk about it, because it's an interesting. I've seen them in the Bay Area, but I'd never gotten close to them or anything. Right. And the frunk that's in the front there, the front trunk. But it did really well coming up those hills, and just they don't have a transfer case or anything, low range, but they have modes.
No lockers,
yeah, they have modes that mimic that.
Sure.
And I mean, did ridiculously well. We were out, for 5 hours or something on this trail, and they used like 1 mile of range, I guess.
Wow.
And we obviously went further than a mile.
Sure.
So that's the statistic that I heard, but maybe I'm wrong, but it was very minimal.
Do they have like solar panels on their roofs or anything?
No. So they charged up somewhere just down the hill here, Arnold somewhere, topped it up to 100%. came up to their camp, which is somewhere near Lake Alpine.
25 miles up there.
And then drove back down to our camp, ran the trail Friday, drove back up to their camp Friday night. Saturday morning, came back to our camp, went out on the trail all day Saturday, and hung out, had dinner with us, and then went back. I think they had to go back to their camp and then head home from that point.
Right.
So, it's like I guess about a 300-mile range they were saying that they can get. But it was impressive. It was impressive, and I definitely want to know more. I did find out that the torque, the torques, all the torques. There's no transfer case or anything, but 900 foot-pounds of torque.
On each wheel or total?
Don't ask questions I don't know the answer to. I don't want to misquote.
That's still a shitload of torque.
But I'm assuming that's just like comparable to, my truck's 925 foot-pounds of torque.
My truck's 800, so that's pretty awesome.
800 horsepower.
800 horsepower.
800 horsepower. And, of course, those torques are from right meow.
That's a lot of whoop pounds.
Right off the throttle. So, very, very impressive. So...
Do they have adjustable suspensions? Can they lift and lower or no?
Yes.
Oh, they can? That's cool.
Yes, they can. And we'll get into that, too, here. So, okay, so let me finish up Friday. Because you weren't here.
No.
So we had quite a bit of work to do. A lot of, cutting that brush, and there was like 3 of us cutting, and then people behind us were, getting it cleared off the trail and stuff. A lot of the cedar trees were overgrown over the trail in that one section. And I was like, man, I never expected it to be this bad. But like you say, it was kind of progressive each day or each year. It was getting a little bit more and more, so I'm glad we got that tackled.
Cool.
And the trees, and came back and had lunch, and I said, well, we can go up and cut, or let's just head back to camp and make an early afternoon of it. So it was nice. We were able to come back early and hang out, and then more people came into camp that Friday afternoon, evening, Saturday morning. More people came in, so we had 20-something people, 25 people on Saturday.
Cool.
And so it was great. So I said, hey, we're going to split up into 2 groups. One group is going to go run Mattley Meadow.
Yeah.
So I said, whoever wants to run that with me, I have no idea what it's like. I didn't get out on the dirt bike out there, but I need to run that loop and go down by Hunter's Camp and down where the snow is usually on that steep downhill.
Right. And
there was 2 little patches of snow there. And then the other group went straight up to the logs. I had them marked on GPS. So there was a group that went up there. Ultra 4 Jones is here. We haven't mentioned that yet. Ex-racer Ultra 4 Jones is here.
Kevin Jones.
And so he went out and did the loop with us on Friday and had fun with his youngest daughter. And then Saturday, they went straight up and cut logs because he's got, badass saw.
Hot saw.
Yeah, and it's running on race fuel, man. It smells good when that saw's running, I'll tell you.
Well, he doesn't have a race.
I'm like, what? Yeah, you got to use your race fuel on something if you're not racing, I guess. So, anyways, he went up and I said, you can cut to your heart's content up there. And so that group immediately started on that. We had a great day. I was tired. I was really tired. We worked pretty hard on Friday, and so Saturday morning, head up, took a little shortcut up to that point that takes us to the cattle guard. And you come out, and then you drop down, like I say, right by Hunter's Camp, and down then like 2 little patches of snow. There was a couple little trees kind of sticking out, so the guys behind us cut those. And then we got down into the meadow. The meadow's beautiful. A little bit of water running through the meadow.
Great.
Snow melt, And then got into the aspens grove, and then so there was a few trees down. So we had another...
That's a really pretty area there.
Yeah, we had another 12 or so trees to move yesterday. There was a couple of good-sized ones.
What's the biggest?
Well, yeah,
feet?
the big one was going back up to the ridge after lunch, and that one was pushing, 3.5 feet in diameter, I'd say.
Wow.
4 feet. So, yeah, we got through the meadow, beautiful, and it was getting close to, the one section we had that we cut last year in November. it's just nice to kind of, you get all these memories as you're going back through. You're like, oh man, we spent 2 hours in this section, and then yesterday we just drove right through it in less than, a minute.
Sure.
It's like, okay, clear. Got out to the forest road, there that's open, but we had a little bit of work to do out there, not hardly anything. Water running across the road there too. There was a big river crossing.
Wow.
Yeah, that was impressive. Well, it was like 2 inches deep, but
that's scary.
Water running. It was scary for a few rigs, So then we got out, and you look out, man. Some of the views up here are outstanding, and you get up on these ridges, and I mean, it some of these valleys, I mean, they mimic Yosemite Valley. I mean, it's just, the granite and the trees.
You're looking out over Bear Valley.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
My God, it's insane.
So I got we were on the fire road heading back to the lunch spot. And I'm like, man, this is a beautiful spot for a photo right here. I'm like, let's get a group photo. Everybody up for a group photo? And they said, yeah, let's do it. Well, you had to do an Austin Powers turn to get the rigs turned around with that background, right? The Yosemite-esque background, we'll call it. And High Sierra and granite background. Right. And so we got everybody lined up and got some killer photos, and I'm up there. I'm like, hey, turn on your lights on the Rivians. Because, the whole front end lights up, and the headlights obviously have halos and stuff. It is. It's like a face. And so, of course, they can do it from their phones and stuff. And super cool. So we got some great photos with just the rigs, and then with everybody standing in front of the rigs. And then by that time, it was like 11:30-ish. So I'm like, perfect. We'll head up to the lunch spot. We got there right around noon, had lunch.
Great.
And then the trail, that 7N57, was right there that we had to head up where we'd meet up with the group that was cutting all the trees.
Right.
So we had a nice lunch, and I finished my sandwich. I said, okay, I'm going to start heading up the hill because I had the big saw. And I said, let me see how far I can get. Well, didn't get very far. That's where that big 3.5, 4-footer tree was.
Is this the pickup stick area?
Well, that pickup stick area is not there anymore because they logged it.
No, I understand that, but this is the same.
No, it's going up to it.
That's what I'm saying.
Going up to it.
Right. I'm thinking the same area.
No, you're not. It's a straight up road that goes up to that area, and so got up there, got to that tree, got the big saw out. 2 cuts. So I don't know who said. Somebody says, "Hey, you want to pull it with a Rivian?" Shelby was her name,
right?
And she's like, "Heck yeah!" And she had a logging choker cable too, but it wasn't big enough to go around the tree. It was so big. I said, "Oh no, we use the strap," but we were impressed that she had this logging choker. It's like, okay.
Huh.
Anyways, so. Hooked that up. Kevin Jones was really impressed.
Yeah, he was.
Ultra 4 Jones. So we got it hooked up and had her pull off to the angle because if this thing started rolling in a hurry, we didn't want it rolling into the back of the nice new Rivian.
Right.
And, again, just crazy. There's this little panel that pops off. It exposed the hitch. 12,000 pound capacity for pulling.
Really?
Yep. And we're like, well, I know this log's less than 12,000. You're good to go. And hooked it up, put the pin in the receiver hitch with the
the loop,
the end of the toe strap, and so we had a nice closed loop system. And she put it in log hauling mode.
Is that a mode?
No, but they're talking about putting that in. Well, we're getting ideas from this run here. I said, yeah, this is good. So just effortlessly pulled this log.
Great.
And pulled it a ways down to block off the volunteer trail where people were going around it.
Sure.
And it was perfect. So I was like, right on. So then you start up the hill and you hit some of the volcanic area. Oh, look at the beautiful deer coming down. Right over there. Nice deer. Being out in the country here. This is great.
A deer.
Birds, deer.
Frolicking in the field.
Yeah. It sees us now. It's about 180 yards away. Very healthy deer.
Oh, there he is.
Yeah, see him?
Cool.
So, there's 2 of them.
Put your rifle down, dude.
Oh, I know. Well, okay. All right. It's venison for dinner.
Hunting season is not in session.
Yeah, so we started up the hill, volcanic, rock, and you got to climb. It's a pretty good little climb. And then we got up to the steep section where the trees were down. We could see them working. And they had plowed through most of the trees already.
And that was with Kevin Jones?
Yeah, and Kevin Jones had just come down the mountain, and he was heading back. His daughter was done, wanted to head back to camp. So he was heading back to camp, and so he says, hey, I got it cut. It just needs to be towed, out of the way. And so I had the buggy. This I didn't mention, but that thing's like a tractor, for moving these logs and stuff.
Almost as good as a Unimog.
Right. And then I had Dan right seating with me. Dan is, I guess past club member, huh? Tom's not a club member anymore?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, anyways, his uncle was a member of the club, and so he used to go out four-wheeling with us as a kid, and so it was cool to see him back out here, but he was a huge help, hooking up all the straps and everything, getting the saw down from the top of the buggy.
Right.
And that electronic still, man, that's electronic ignition. That thing just runs so good.
Oh, good.
Strong like bull.
That's the new saw?
Yeah.
Big one?
Yeah.
That's
it's a
awesome.
club saw. So, and Ultra 4 Jones has the same saw, but his is souped up a little bit more.
Hot saw.
Hot saw. What do you say? He spent more on the saw than the side chick?
Yeah, that's
the
crazy.
side kick?
He's got fancy shocks on the front of the side chick. And
so, anyways, we get up to it, and I'm like, holy smokes, how are we going to tow this thing effectively where it's not going to run over us? Because it's on a steep hill. So we got the winch. I put the buggy up against a tree to anchor it, ran the winch out, snatch blocked off a bunch of trees that were down in that area. Just trees were down everywhere. And then ran the winch cable back to the tow strap that was wrapped around the log. And the idea was we were going to catch one end of it to pivot it. So we're not towing the whole weight of the log, one, uphill. Two, it will hinge and then block off this downhill section because it was off camber there where this trail, we had to reroute the trail a little bit there.
Okay.
And because a huge tree was down in the middle of the trail, and there was no way we were moving that. And we could have been cutting up there all day and still not have moved the thing. So get it in position. I said, hey, put a couple wedges there, of other logs to keep it from rolling. Okay, we got it in position. And they said, oh, we'll just push it into place. Okay. There was like 10 people on it. They pushed way too hard. Halfway down the mountain it goes.
Oh, shit.
No, it didn't. It rolled like 30 feet, but it was way past where I wanted it. Like, damn it. Well, I guess Kevin had cut the log lower down. They said, hey, there's another cut here. So I started winching that into position, and it wasn't cut all the way. So I had to get out, cut it all the way, and then it hinged and went perfectly into place. And then we got shovels and dug out the low section, the high section, filled in the low section, so it leveled out the trail. Still off camber, but not terrible.
Okay.
So then by that time, the crew that had been there all day was right up to us. They just finished moving the last tree.
Oh, good.
So it worked out perfectly. It was like 2:15 in the afternoon.
Right on.
Because we had a hard stop time back in camp by 4, I said.
Okay.
We're all volunteers, but we want to try and get the trail open, but we're not going to kill ourselves in the process,
Sure.
And everybody was working hard. So I said 4 o'clock back at camp. Well, here it is, 2:15, and we met up, dug that out. We moved out of the way. They came down the mountain. My whole group went up the mountain. So again, nice, steep, loose, some off camber, and got all the way back up to where we started in the morning, basically.
Okay, great.
And everybody made it up. There was one narrow section there. The buggy just barely fit through between, because these trees blew over. So it root ball came up, these huge root balls. And it leaves this crater, 8 feet deep,
right?
And 15, 20 feet in diameter. Mm-hmm. Well, this one tree fell across the trail, cut it as close as they could to the root ball, and then there was another root ball right next to it. So you're kind of negotiating between these two, but it fit, and everybody made it through. But it was a tight squeeze.
Yeah.
So it makes it a little interesting on the trail there. So we got all the way back up to the top, and then took a little fire road that cuts in between a couple of trails back down to camp. And we got back to camp at 3 o'clock, I think it was.
And that was
just before 3 o'clock. Yeah, it was. Well, I loaded up. I wanted to wasn't as dirty as I was on Friday. Friday I was filthy, but yesterday stayed pretty clean. But I wanted to get the buggy loaded up. I had the dirt bike. I wanted to get everything loaded on the trailer and strapped down before I took a hot shower.
Right.
And man, the Lance life is so nice.
It is.
And thank God, because it was cold. We had a few club members that bailed because it got too cold. They some of them came up and then spent one night and said, "I'm out of here," and then others didn't even come up.
Right.
So I get it, but I mean, we had people sleeping in tents and stuff, and as long as you had a good sleeping bag, and it was fine. 30 degrees. What this morning you said?
Yeah, it was about 30.
Yeah. So I mean, it's chilly willy for this time of the year, but that's the Sierras, and now it's like 60-something degrees in the afternoon. You know, huge temperature swings this time of the year up here, but you got to be prepared.
Yep.
Because it changes quickly.
Oh yeah. No.
We got a little snow yesterday. Got snowed on, a little flurry. Nothing much other than it did physically snow. It was snowing. I thought it was going to rain, but it was too cold to rain. So there's some serious cloud cover. It was good working weather because it wasn't hot and dusty. And,
right.
We've been up here when it's just brutal and you're running a chainsaw and of course you're wearing all your safety gear. So you're being as, safe as possible. And
can't drink enough water.
No, and you're drinking tons of water, Gatorade, everything, trying to stay hydrated, and you're dusty, and it's just, oh my gosh. So it was nice working weather.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. So that takes us into Saturday afternoon. I'm trying to think if there's anything else trail-wise. I mean, nobody had any issues. We didn't have to tow or winch anybody. No mechanical issues.
Great.
It was awesome. Yeah, it was super chill. And we had radio. Everybody had a ham radio.
Good.
So we had great communication. Even to other people, the other group that was on the mountain, we could hear them at times. Uh-huh. They could hear us. Ed could hear us in camp. Ed was in camp fixing dinner for us that night, Saturday night. So the communication's great. And that was just simplex.
Sure. That's awesome.
And I guess that repeater CJ found at the top of Bear Valley, but we got to get that programmed into our you got to get that programmed into my radios.
We'll make that happen.
Yeah. Because that'll be a huge game changer up here as well to hit
absolutely.
some of those dead spots. But very cool, and they had a blast. It was fun having newbies out on the run, and it's just such a beautiful area, and I was like tour guide, and they were super appreciative and had a great time, and I was like, right on, that's cool, because you want people's first experience to be a good one, right?
Oh, heck yeah. You don't want to, yeah.
This is such a beautiful area, and it is a work party. We are working, but it's fun work, and
it's fun work, and like I said earlier, many hands make for easy work.
Yeah, you can work as hard or as little as you want. So, anyways, that takes us to Saturday evening. So you rolled into camp at what time?
About 4 o'clock.
4 o'clock. So yeah, I'd had everything loaded up and just getting ready to had an old fashioned. We got it on an old fashioned kick between the Rod and Hammer's old fashioned mix that we were having up at Rubicon last weekend. James Ronda and I, and I don't know if Husband had any. I don't even know if he had his horchata or what he calls that, rum chata.
Oh, rum chata.
The rum chata, right? But yeah, so I had this proof mix, PROOF, proof mix. So it's you mix a half ounce of that mix with 2 ounces of bourbon, and that makes your old fashioned. Freaking delicious. Even James came back he goes, I gotta get a picture of that bottle. What is that stuff? And I'm like, it's proof, and you refrigerate it. It's it's legit good stuff. It's not all sugared up and everything, and artificial flavors. So
right on. Yeah, I didn't have any old fashions last night. I had some wine, and then I rolled right into the bourbon.
Well, there you go. Yeah. So I had one glass of that Cab Franc last night. That was the new DeRose, right?
That's the new DeRose.
Yeah, 19, was it?
18 or 19.
Yeah, I think it was a 19 DeRose, so that's always good. And that was
super good.
As it ages, it just gets better. Yeah. But, so Eddie brought the snack wagon, he called it, as a little enclosed trailer.
Yep.
And he had tables, easy up set up, a full frickin' buffet line.
Absolutely.
And, did dinner at 5:30.
Yep.
I said, let's do dinner at 5:30. And so he did a bunch of pulled pork
Yes.
at home. And so he heated them up in the crock pots up here, had the Kinder's hot and mild barbecue sauce to choose from, pickles,
Yep.
dill pickles, and
Coleslaw.
coleslaw,
Mac
homemade
and
coleslaw,
cheese.
and homemade mac and cheese,
Oh, the mac and cheese was good.
and the Hawaiian rolls.
Yep.
You know,
King Kamehameha
so you
rolls.
make these pulled pork sandos. Oh my gosh, it was delicious. And then dessert came out.
Ooh, ice cream.
I went back for seconds. I had to go back for seconds on the on both the dinner and dessert. So the ice cream had chocolate chip ice cream, sugar cones. I'm like, well, this is freaking awesome.
Yeah, Land's life.
So sitting there around the campfire. Well, he's host life. He has a host
Oh,
camper.
that's right, he has a host. Yeah.
But I don't know how he got that big ice cream tub in there.
I don't know.
I didn't ask him that. Maybe. Oh, I think he does have the bigger door freezer on his. It's not like mine. That's a little
I
halfy.
mean, if
top.
I take the shelf out of my freezer, I could probably hold something like
Oh
that.
yeah. See, you've got a bigger refrigerator freezer than I do.
Yep.
So there goes another deer running deer. Why you ask? Two dogs. So. Excellent dinner, and we the cool thing about this camp is it has this huge
campfire
ring area. So it's got these boulders, good rock crawling boulders the size, like what's out on the Rubicon there. They're about 3 by 3 or so, 4 by 4, some of them. And then it's got the fire pit in the center, and you're literally surrounded by trees. The whole camp is just kind of like this circle of rocks or your campfire, and then circle of trees. And you look straight up at night, and the silhouette of the trees against the sky, and of course you see stars galore.
Oh yeah,
we had a nice clear night last night.
It was crisp,
and it was crisp. And the fire was we had that thing cooking pretty good. And then you brought out your little blower to get it, stoke the fire.
Absolutely,
and that was great. I am remiss that I did not bring the peater here, though. The smoke got bad at times, and it wasn't consistent where it went. So everybody got smoke at some point.
Oh yeah,
there was no good place around the campfire, unfortunately, and it wasn't like windy, or else we wouldn't have had a fire. But it was just this breeze that would come up and just
change
the smoke direction, left and right.
Yep.
My gosh. And we had some good heat pouring out of this thing, but it just could not. The smoke would not go straight up.
Nope.
Would not go straight up.
So,
first world problems here.
Right, exactly.
Then Rodney, we get later into the night, and he brings out the marshmallows. So I had to get the marshmallow sticks out. We're making s'mores. These huge, ginormous marshmallows. But that was great.
Living the dream.
Yeah, it was so nice. And then, people started peeling off to bed, and a lot of people went home.
A lot of people went home.
Went home.
There was only like 6 or 8 of us at the campfire.
Yeah.
After all the dust settled. And,
right.
But it was great. I mean, it was a small enough group that we were all able to, cozy up to the fire and stay warm.
Right.
If we had 25 or 30 people, the ring would be huge, and we wouldn't have really felt the fire.
No, not at all.
So,
not at all.
But and. Just like I said earlier on, this is one of my favorite places, and I unfortunately had to work on Saturday morning, so I was not able to get here till later. But I'm here now. I'm going to spend an extra day. You're going to go home here pretty quick.
I'm heading out right now. Right meow.
And I'm going to, Kevin Jones, his daughter, and I are going to, hang out tonight, have dinner, and then I'm going to probably roll home sometime around noon tomorrow.
What's for dinner tonight?
I got burgers.
His famous burgers.
Yes, sir.
Are you sharing with Kevin Jones?
I don't know. I don't know what his plan. I got plenty. I mean,
okay.
I don't know what his plan is, but
nice.
I mean, I'm sad, trying to accrue enough vacation and get my new work situation squared away so that I'm able to, this is one of my favorite runs. I've been doing this Adopt a Trail with you guys for at least 10 years.
Yeah.
And I've missed a couple of years during that time, and usually it's it's got to be more than 10 years, 15 or 20 now at this point.
We've been doing this for 20 plus years.
First time I ever came up here, I had just my Jeep, and I remember following you up. I drove in with the Jeep. I had my tent and everything, the stove and the cooler. Obviously, things have evolved. I'm now living the Lance life, which is wonderful. But there's something to be said about those simplistic days. But I also had a badass sleeping bag too that kept me warm.
Exactly.
Because you just don't know what you're going to get up here in the Sierras, and that's kind of what I wanted to touch on a little bit about people come up here to recreate, whether it's summertime or wintertime or in the shoulder seasons. But I mean, when we come up here to do the Adopt a Trail, and we kind of do a recon and figure out, see what devastation occurred during the winter. I mean, it's part of me wants to be up here to experience the wrath. Let's just call it that, the wrath of Mother Nature that occurs. I mean, there's energies that are released in the winter, wind shears and things like that just literally take these 150 foot tall trees that are 4 feet, 5 feet, 6 feet in diameter and just shove them over like they're nothing.
Well, they shove them over, and then there was a lot. I've got a crazy photo of these trees that are fully splintered.
Oh, yeah.
So the root ball stayed, and, 10 feet up is just gone, and it's all splintered. So the winds had to be insane. And it's like we were all saying yesterday when we were up there, we're like, man, what was it like up here? It would be cool if you had obviously want to be safe, but if you could witness that destruction, to know how high of winds and the force that it just causes these 4 foot, 5 foot diameter trees to just snap in half,
explode.
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean,
pretty much.
So having so we're someplace safe. I don't think there is.
No, even it's
because it's so unpredictable.
Yeah, GoPro would have been cool. It's like, but then your GoPro would have got blown down the mountain somewhere.
Right.
Trying to find it. But anyways, it just the awe of nature, and you got all this beautiful stuff, and then you see the destruction, and it's like, wow.
Right, and it makes it kind of feel insignificant.
Oh yeah, for sure. So yeah, and it's the other great thing about doing this Adopt a Trail is the Forest Service flat out told us that these trails would not be open if we didn't adopt
correct.
them. And so we have that responsibility. And we enjoy it, and it's a pride thing. You got a sense of accomplishment when you get back to camp of, hey, last night it was just so nice because the last 2 years we were defeated. We couldn't open all the trails.
Right.
And last night, all trails are open, that we maintain up here. So that's great.
Did you put the moose up and say the trails are open?
No, didn't put the moose sign up. The trails are open. Moose should have told you up front. Yeah, so it's great. And like I say, many hands make light work. We got a lot of people. We had a lot of saws, and everybody kind of does their thing and fit in where they feel comfortable and
sure,
and do what they can. I mean, you get some people with loppers, just clearing stuff or just picking up the remnants after we drag a tree out of the way off the trail, and blocking off the trails, the little volunteer trails that went around down trees. So.
Any snow shoveling going on?
Nope, no snow shoveling. We got two, like I say, there's 2 tiny little patches, so got to go snow wheeling.
Good.
Yeah, yesterday. That was good. Actually drove over some snow.
In June.
But yeah, it was very minimal. And there, you could see down the hill in the trees, there was a few little snow patches in there, but most of it's gone. And we're up at, 7,000, 8,000 feet.
Sure, yeah, no, absolutely.
So, but yeah, it's all but melted now. But like I say, little babbling brooks going right behind us, so there's still water coming out of the mountain, so that's good. But it's going to be a hot, dry summer, unfortunately. Hopefully not too hot.
Hopefully not hot to the point of flames.
Yeah.
But,
so
saying that, everybody, all of our listeners, I know we're preaching to the choir, but be safe out there.
How do you put out fires again? With your face, Chris? Is that how you do it?
Absolutely. You got to check it with your face. Yeah, I fell on fire last night.
What was that all about?
Well, it was that we had just put it out and I tripped, and it was anyway.
You're lucky the fire was out.
I scratched my nose.
Dan saved you. Yeah, your nose looks a little beat up.
But yeah, make sure you put the fire out when you're have a campfire, enjoy a campfire, but don't just leave it when you're done.
If it's allowed.
If it's allowed.
So the sign was up saying, fire, stoves, charcoal allowed right now.
Right now.
So they're legal there. And then, we got all the water from our camp here and
make sure you have a permit.
Dumped it on the fire. Yep. And have your permit. And then, this is a designated campsite with this designated ring. So it's fully clear around it for
a few feet.
God, like 50 feet around it.
Yeah,
I mean, it's nice, clear, safe area.
But just please, 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 if you have a campfire, if a campfire is allowed, just when you're done with it, put it out completely dead out.
Yeah, and make sure you're using your common sense. Just because you have a permit fires are allowed, but if the weather is non-conducive, like it's super windy, probably not a good idea to have a fire.
And we did that last year. We had that one evening where last November, we couldn't have a fire.
Right.
We just, no, not going to happen.
It's too windy. So anyways, good stuff. I appreciate everybody that came out. So hopefully we didn't scare you off for the next Adopt a Trail. But no, I think, in between Ed doing the food for everybody,
well,
and
it's something to look forward to at the end of the day.
Yeah, you're so tired, and having a hot meal ready for you was great.
Sure,
and it got done early, so by 6:15, people start rolling out of camp, and we're able to get home in a decent hour. So that was good too. That people that didn't want to stay. So yeah, so that's Adopt a Trail 2022.
Check.
Trails are open.
Check. Box is checked.
It is. I'm glad we were able to get that done.
Cool.
So, what other things? So unfortunately, the bit of sad news is Mike and Max's podcast is on
permanent hiatus.
Or undetermined hiatus, whatever. So they hung it up. I'm gonna miss Mike's stories. I called him and talked to him last week, and I was like, "Damn, man." He goes, no, hop on. I could be on your podcast. I'm all, hell yeah. Anytime you want to be on our podcast, that'd be great. And
Yep.
Hear your stories because, half the time I think they're made up, but knowing Mike, we know they're not made up.
I think he got tired of, doing the two voices during the show.
Right, exactly. And then, trying to, the whole liberty thing, and what were we calling Max? Not imaginary Max, but...
I don't know.
Shoot, I can't even remember this year at KOH. Anyways,
well, that was kind of them to step aside so that we can have move into the top.
That's what he said, so we can move back into the top 100. So thank you guys. We totally appreciate you taking one for the team. So Wheeling Wine and Whiskey can move up in the ranks. We really appreciate that wholeheartily. So wish you guys the best of luck, and we'll definitely stay in touch. And
for sure,
yeah. Mike, anytime you want to be on the podcast, just, the digits, hit me up.
That's right.
Max, imaginary Max, well, maybe we'll see you, maybe we won't.
Well, never met him.
Never met him. So, yeah. What was the other Oh, I got a rant. We haven't done a rant in a long time. No, we haven't.
I have a rant, too.
I haven't done a rant in a long time, and so...
You can walk the walk or talk the talk. Jason, what do we got?
I don't even know how to start this off.
Well, just
let me see. Okay, so you go over to and you go over to a guest. You're a guest at somebody's house.
Sure. Okay.
Right, and they got a guest bedroom. And some people have to put 14 freaking pillows on the bed.
Yes.
Why is that?
I don't know.
I just. You got 2 pillows that you sleep on or use or whatever. Great.
Yep.
But why do you need 14 freaking pillows on a bed? Now, I'm appreciative that I get to stay at a, friend's house, but you got to, you go to bed, and what do you do with the pillows? Do you throw them on the floor?
Throw them on the floor.
Just throw them on the floor.
Yeah, throw them on the floor.
So, and then there's an order, because there's different size pillows. They're not
correct.
It's not just one, like standard pillow.
Might have
you got a little square. It's got a design on one side.
Make sure they're correct.
Exactly. So then it's like, do you take a picture of how the pillows are?
Take a picture.
And then just clear off the bed?
It'll last longer.
Just go to sleep, wake up in the morning, make the bed, and then put all the pillows back the way you found them?
Well, do you even make the bed? Because, you
don't. Some of them you don't have to because the pillows cover up everything.
Well, there you go.
So, yeah, long pillows, skinny pillows, little square pillows, decorative pillows. I'm like, holy smokes. So that's one part of it. But what made me think about this, because it was like one of those things, I'm just like, why all these pillows? I don't get it. I could see like a decorative pillow, or something on, I don't know. I'm not a fashion person there, home designer, but my house, I'm trying to sell it, and a stager came in, and there's frickin' 12 pillows on my bed.
Great. So you're part of the problem.
Pisses me off to know. One pillow, I kid you not, is like a foot wide by like 4 feet.
Oh, that's a body pillow.
What? No, it's too skinny. I don't get it. I'm like, what is going on here? So I have to move these freaking pillows and put them back, and it's driving me absolute batshit crazy.
Wow, first world problem.
Well, yeah, but I'm like, why the pillow thing? I don't get it. It doesn't look good to me. I don't know why that the appeal or anything. If somebody out there knows why, gives me a good reason, I'd love to hear it.
I have 8 pillows on my bed.
Do you really?
Yes.
You really do?
Yes.
And so what's the reasoning?
I don't know. My wife does it.
No, you put them on every morning. You make your bed every morning, and she gets up after you, so she has to deal with it.
So when I get home, when I go to bed at night, I have to throw all the pillows.
But
off.
when you're tired, The last thing you want to do is take pillows off bed. You just want to freaking peel back the covers.
Just throw them off the side.
God,
it takes me 2 seconds. Just perfect, good. And then my wife comes in. The dogs sleep there.
Well,
It's
exactly.
let's get rid of the pillows. Whatever.
Yeah, we can solve this problem real quick. Don't need to throw anything on the floor if we don't have pillows there.
I don't think my wife listens to the podcast.
Does she?
No, I don't think she
does. Oh, you're
but,
fine then.
So any listeners that know my wife, just don't tell her what I said. So, I have a rant too. Are you done?
You do?
Are you done?
I think I'm done. I can't add any more to that, but why 14 pillows on a bed?
Well,
done.
If any listeners have any feedback on that, you know the number, 408-800-5169.
That's it.
408-800-5169. Jason will eagerly answer your phone calls so you can explain to him why you need 14 pillows on your bed.
And we do have some voicemails. I'll have to play one here. You want me to play it now, or you want to do your rant?
Let me do my rant because I'm in the zone.
Okay.
It took me a while, but I'm there now.
Okay, good. It's been a long time for Chris's rant. You guys still got that intro music to the rant?
I sure as hell do.
Okay, we need to plug that in.
So,
insert here.
We may think it, but Chris is going to say it.
What the hell is going on with truckers? I mean, I know that truckers are important to our economy, and they move all these goods to and from stores, whether they're grocery stores or big box stores or Amazon or what the hell ever. But it seems like they've forgotten how to drive. And I'll use this example. Just recently, I was on 580 trying to get home from work, and the big rigs were in every fucking lane of the freeway.
Oh, boy.
Every lane. And these commercial drivers, they know they're not supposed to be in those number 1 and 2 or 3 lanes.
Right.
That section of the freeway has 5 lanes. They're restricted to the 2 lanes to the farthest right. These guys run every lane, every single lane. And I'm like, what are you guys doing? And if somebody can explain to me what's going on, why they feel like they don't have to obey the laws anymore, I want to know. Because
the world wants to know.
It really disrupts the flow of traffic.
Well, not once, but twice on the way up here, I had 2 semi-trucks veer into my lane. So I don't know if they were on their phone. Obviously, they weren't paying attention to driving. And
yeah, because why would you do that when you
if I wasn't paying attention, one guy would have hit me, would have clipped me for sure on the side.
Oh, great.
Yeah, I'm like, what the F? And I'm towing, And luckily, I looked over to my shoulder. It was in the slow lane, and I had room to slide on over a little bit, or else he would have been right into me.
Yeah.
He wasn't changing lanes. He didn't have a signal on. He just wasn't paying attention and drifting.
Maybe he was avoiding a bird or something. I don't know. But, but again, I'm seeing so much bad behavior from big rig drivers in the wrong lanes. I'm seeing bad behavior from people, just regular people like us, towing in the wrong lanes. People, you need to review and look at the DMV driver's owner, the license, whatever that manual is. The fucking
handbook.
The handbook.
Handbook.
When you're towing, you cannot be in the freaking far right, left lanes. You just can't.
No.
If it's a 2-lane freeway like I-5. The people towing need to be in the right lane. You can get in the left lane to pass, but once your pass is complete, you need to move back over to the right lane. That's if you're towing. Now, I know there's a lot of Johnny Rockets out there that are in the left lane, and they just zip along at 110 miles an hour. But come on, people, let's help with the flow of traffic. Big rig drivers, stay to the goddamn right.
There you go.
I'm done.
Okay, nice. That was very good.
You know, voicemail you're going to play?
I was going to play a voicemail, but my phone says temperature needs to cool down before you can use it.
Oh, boy.
It was sitting out in the sun. Oh, now it's back. Here we go.
Well, that's an Apple.
There we go. It's finicky.
I'm getting a new phone next week.
Are you?
Yep.
Okay.
I'm looking forward to it because this phone's not doing very well.
All right, let's see what we got here. You ready?
Probably didn't help that I threw it in the fire last night.
No, that didn't help at all.
So,
Good job.
all right, you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, make it happen, Cap.
Hey, y'all. It is Tyler from Snow Trail 4x4 and more places.
Tyler.
Giving you a call because Jason brought up on the latest episode a bar named Shenanigans.
Shenanigans.
There's actually a movie out there with Ryan Reynolds and Justin Long and a couple other funny people called Waiting.
Yep.
And it's a movie that's a take on, the wait service in a restaurant and how restaurants operate. And the restaurant they work at is called Shenanigans. So I highly recommend it. If anybody out there has worked in the food service industry at a restaurant or anything, go watch the movie Waiting because it is freaking hilarious. The shenanigans that they get themselves into in the restaurant there, and not a whole lot of it is really that far out of what happens at restaurants, which is really scary. So, yeah, check it out. Tyler out.
Tyler out. He's using your line.
That's a copyright infringement right there. So, Waiting is a fantastically funny movie, and and I worked in a restaurant for a couple of years when I first moved to California.
Chili's, right?
Chili's, that's right. And some of the stuff that goes on in that movie is so true. And that's, yeah.
How many pieces of flair did you have?
No flair.
Oh, no flair?
That's a different movie.
Oh, I know. But
that's Office Space.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
But the little cliques that develop and who's dating who and all the little things and the antics that happen in the kitchen. Hey, let me tell you something, people. If you don't, remember who's cooking your food, and if you keep sending it back because it's not right, trust me.
Vitamin floor.
Don't keep sending the food back.
So that's a restaurant called Shenanigans, but it's not a bar. I'm still looking for a bar named
it's
Shenanigans.
A bar
I want like a full bar.
Yeah, well, I'm sure there is. We could do a Google search. Well, we don't have the internet.
Like Hula Hands. I know of a bar named Hula Hands. But so okay. And so is that movie fairly new?
15 years maybe.
Oh, geez, that's old.
We can make a movie called Titties and Beer.
And Shenanigans.
Okay, there's a bar called Titties and Beer, right?
Random. I guarantee there is. I know there's a song.
Woohoo! Yeah, right.
Well, we got other voicemails here, but we're going to wait to play those because we got this became the snail trail complaint line here, I guess. So we'll have to wait. But thanks for calling in, Tyler.
Yeah.
It was good. We haven't seen you on any 4 drive runs lately, so it's good to hear from you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Get
your clutch fixed yet?
Oh boy, maybe he did. I don't know.
Should put an automatic in that thing, dude.
He wants to. Automatic's the way to go.
The future, man.
Yeah,
automatic.
Yeah, I think electric's the future, Rivian, but we'll see.
How do they get a hold of us?
Well, we just said our phone number. 408-800-5169. You can email Chris, Jason, or Lorenzo at wheelingwineandwhiskey.com.
That's right.
And, of course, the IG, Wheeling Wine and Whiskey. And I've been a little busy. Haven't been posting a whole lot.
No.
But I've been interacting with people that have been chiming in. So hit me up on that. And we'll look forward to some pictures from... I did a Rubicon photo dump.
I saw that.
I've got a part 2 Rubicon photo dump.
Part 2?
Part 2 in the rain coming out last Sunday. And then, of course, we'll do, got some good videos and stuff from the Adopt a Trail this weekend. So I'll have to go through those and see what I can get posted up. But very cool.
Cool.
And with that,
I guess we're out.